Hello everyone! Deaf Stories is back. So, today's vlog, I'll be introducing myself and some history behind Deaf Stories and what it'll look like into the future. So, my name is Sherry. I live in Melbourne, the best city in the world. I was born and raised in Queensland, and I've also lived in Sydney. I moved around quite a lot growing up. But now, for the last 9 years, I've lived in Melbourne. So, I am a deaf person. I was born into a hearing family with hearing parents and siblings, and I was the one deaf person. But I was lucky. My family could sign, and I grew up signing. I didn't use spoken communication. I have a cochlear implant, and I got that when I was about 31, which was, back in 2017. And I love it, particularly because I have the new model. I can listen to music directly from my phone, but I'll talk about that later in the series. So, Deaf Stories is back. So, why have I decided to do vodcasts? Well, I've noticed out in the community, hearing people wearing headphones. They could be in their car, driving, in the bath, sleeping, maybe sleeping, I don't know. They could be driving, I think I said that already. But yes, they could be doing a number of different activities like cooking, and they've got their headphones in and it's so easy for them. They will be listening to different podcasts talking about different topics. It could be true crime, or even the science behind weather, or perhaps talking about brilliant leadership skills. So many different topics. And I think, what about deaf people? I have noticed some deaf people emerging that create vodcasts, both here in Australia and around the globe. And I thought, why can't I do that? What's stopping me? Well, really, I'm stopping me. I plan on talking about a number of different topics, but just going back for a moment, how did Deaf Stories start? Perhaps you don't know. It started back in 2019. Myself and my friend Janelle, the two of us, would go around Queensland, meeting different deaf people, interviewing them about their established businesses. We would talk about how they got established, how they've maintained it, what sort of struggles and barriers they encountered, and how they got through them. And it was brilliant. We would film them, edit them, add in captions. We would then post it out into the world on social media, and they were quite well received. We wanted to do more through 2020, but unfortunately, the world got flipped upside down. We got put into lockdown, and then it was just impossible to fly around the country, meeting deaf people face to face, interviewing them and having conversations. We were stuck. What could we do? And I noticed those who create content online were also stuck. They couldn't travel around filming. And then things switched to live stream. And live streaming became so popular, and I thought, why can't Deaf Stories be the same? There are so many deaf people out there who are stuck at home, isolating. Where's our deaf fix? Where's the opportunity for deaf people to watch deaf people putting stories out into sign language? So, I asked one man by the name of Andrew Wiltshire to come and do an interview with me and to talk about his life experiences, growing up in a religious commune, his journey of exploration and sexuality. It was pretty amazing stuff. The community absolutely loved it, and they wanted more. They wanted more interviews to happen. It was a pretty incredible time. Now, here in Melbourne, of course, we had the longest lockdowns. We had one after another, all the way through 2021. And I personally just became so fatigued of all those extra activities and of deaf stories. And I had to hit the handbrakes. I had to take pause and look after my mental health to just get through the lockdowns. And yeah, anyway, deaf people out there, potentially even yourself, have asked me, when are deaf stories returning? And I would reply, yes, I want them to return too, but the timing wasn't right. As I said before, I've seen a lot of hearing people out there who've got such easy access to podcasts. And then there are those other emerging deaf vodcast creators. So I thought, well, now couldn't be a more perfect time. It is the National Week of Deaf People this week. What a brilliant opportunity to bring deaf stories back. So, as for some of the topics I want to cover, I'd like to talk about politics, the things that impact our lives, what book I'm reading at the moment. It could be a fantastic novel, and I want to share it with the community and really recommend it and talk about why everyone should read it. I want to talk about academic research papers. There are amazing topics out there that have been researched that I would love to discuss. There are so many research papers, but many of them are not accessible to deaf people. So I want to read a paper and then put my thoughts into Auslan for the community. I want to see what's happening around the world, see what's happening overseas, see what deaf people are talking about, what opportunities and topics there are, something that I find interesting that I can bring to my vlog series. Us deaf people have the right to having equal access to information as the rest of the community. Hearing people have the ability to access information when it happens, and deaf people are often left behind. So I want to change that with my vlog series by covering a number of different topics. I also want to do vlog interviews. I want to interview deaf people, have some great conversations, but I don't know who that will be just yet. I've got a few names in mind, maybe you, or you, or you, or even you. Who knows? It is yet to be seen, so watch this space. So how can you watch these vlogs? Well, I plan on making them available on many platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And this means that however you choose to access content, it should be available to you, whatever your preferred method is. I won't be filming in landscape. It will be in portrait because it's the most popular way of filming for online content. It gives me plenty of sighting space still. You can see me clearly. It will be accessible for hearing people. I plan on having the interpreters voicing. Maybe there's an interpreter voicing right now. I've got no idea. I can't hear it. But you'll know. There will be captions, and those are for people who haven't quite yet developed their Auslan skills. Oh, what else? Ah, yes. You can see the background here. It's nice and plain. I'm wearing a plain black shirt. Occasionally I'll have some pins. I've just recently started collecting pins and I just love them. So maybe you'll see some different pins every time. So yes, plain background, easy to see, no visual distractions, even lighting. Oh, you can see my pimple, but just ignore that, that's fine. So as for how long these videos will be, currently I'm at 9 minutes. I need to wrap things up a little bit. And I don't want these to drag on too long. I'm not too sure how long podcasts are, but going forwards, it's going to be a bit of trial and error. And I'm really relying on your feedback. I want to know how I can improve this series. If I don't have any feedback, I don't know how I can improve. So your feedback is so valuable. I really appreciate your support for Deaf Stories. And I know you're all excited for these to return, so just thank you in advance. I look forward to talking more with the community. It is important that I note that these won't be live streamed. It means they'll be pre-recorded and you can watch them at your own pace. Thanks everyone.